This time, could I have your attention, please? I'd like to call to order the Northampton County Board of Commissioners meeting held on the May 1st. This commissioners meeting is about taking care of the business of Northampton County. We take this responsibility serious, and we desire to do what we can do to make Northampton County all it can possibly be. To begin with, we do know that in any organization, you ought to have a reason for being where you are, what you do. We do have a mission statement. The mission statement states for us what we are all about in every meeting that we're in. This is not about self-glory, pride. It's about what we can do to help Northampton County. Along with the mission statement, we also have a vision statement. All this on the walls behind me. Mission statement is about what we want to see happen, how we want to do it. Vision statements about what impact they have for the future. So tonight, forum of Northampton County Commissioners, Mr. Edwards is on video, and we welcome all of our commissioners here. Most of all, we want to welcome you. Thank you for coming tonight, sharing with us. We invite you at all of our meetings to come and give us, listen to us as we make those decisions, what's best for our county. So tonight, as we begin our meeting, we do know much is going on around this world. We could just take a moment, catch our breath. We could have a moment right now, silent. Thank you so much. At this time, we live in the greatest place in the world, in the United States of America. This time, you so desire, will you please stand with me as we do the pledge of allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Board of Commissioners, this evening you have in your hands the agenda for this meeting. You've had this in your hand for a couple of days, and we know that this is agenda that was sent to you. And at this time, I asked of you that anything on this agenda that you at this time would like to take off, or anything that you would like for us to consider at this time. If not, could I have a motion that we approve agenda as written?
So move.
Second.
Moved and properly second, that this is the agenda that we should have for this evening's meeting. Any questions and discussion? If not, all in favor, let it be known by you sign aye.
Aye.
I Faulkner.
I, Bronax Taylor.
Aye.
Ayes have it, motion is carried. Thank you so much, board members. At this time, you know, we're living in a time when we need to make sure that we have no conflict of interest. That is, that we as commissioners on this agenda have no conflict with all the items that we have on the agenda. At this time, I'm going to ask that our vice chair, if you would read our statement for the conflict of interest.
In accordance with the rules of procedures adopted by this board in section 153A44 of the North Carolina General Statutes, it is the duty of every member present to vote on all matters coming before the board unless there is a conflict of interest as determined by the board or by law. Does any board member have a conflict of interest with respect to any agenda item coming before the board today? If so, please identify the conflict and the board will consider the matter.
Any conflict?
No conflict.
No conflict, Faulkner.
No conflict, Broadnax Taylor.
No conflict.
No conflict. So there are no conflicts, then shall we continue with our agenda? At first, we need to move from this meeting and go into the equalization and review. And at this time, so we're dismissing this part of our business, this session, recessing this part to move into the equalization portion at this time. Yes.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm before you at this moment to administer the oath of office to our two new commissioners, Mr. William Martin and Mrs. Melvita Broadnax Taylor. I have a Bible here. If you all would just raise your right hand, please stand and raise your right hand. And you all have the oath. Do you have your oath with you?
Let me get it.
Yes. Okay. If you would repeat that oath, please.
Hold on one second. In here somewhere. There you go. Ready?
I,
I, William Martin,
Melvita Broadnax Taylor.
do solemnly swear that I will support and maintain the Constitution and laws of the United States and the Constitution and laws of North Carolina, not inconsistent herewith, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of my office as a member of the Board of Equalization and Review of Northampton County, North Carolina, that I will not allow my actions as a member of the Board of Equalization Review be influenced by my personal or political friendships or obligations. So help me God.
thank you. You may be seated. You can have those signed and send them to our clerk. That would be.
Okay.
Moving on, the next item on the agenda is the approval of the board of the minutes from August 15, 2022. And have you all, I'm sure I don't have, do I need to read those for you all? You all have already went over those.
We've had them already.
Okay, all righty.
Motion. Board members, you have the minutes of the last meeting we had. Any objections to anything that's in the minutes? Any objection?
None noted, Faulkner. Yes, they weren't. Yours.
Yeah, you weren't here.
Yes,
That's
I
right. So
can't
you can't say. How about Mr. Elba?
None noted.
Okay, I have any either. So the minutes, okay.
Okay, all right.
Adopted,
I'm
okay.
gonna move on to the resolution appointing the 2023 Northampton County Board of Equalization and Review. And it reads, whereas North Carolina General Statutes authorize the Northampton County Board of Commissioners to appoint a special Board of Equalization and Review to carry out the duties imposed under North Carolina General Statute 105-322. And whereas the Northampton County Board of Commissioners has appointed a special board for 2023. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Northampton County Board of Commissioners that a special Board of Equalization and Review is hereby appointed for 2023 to carry out the statutory duties of North Carolina General Statute 105-322. All members of the Board and Equalization and Review must reside in Northampton County and be at least 18 years of age. Any vacancies on the Board of Equalization and Review shall be filled by appointment of the Northampton County Board of Commissioners sitting in regular session. Be it further resolved that the Northampton County Board of Commissioners will hereby appoint members or alternate members of the 2023 Board of Equalization and Review. Be it further resolved that the members of the Board of Equalization and Review shall be compensated at the rate of $35 per hour for the time served in training or hearings, appointed this first day of May 2023. Moving on to number 4, I will do a call for appeals.
Sorry to
Okay, please.
approve it, right?
Yes,
I mean, I think there needs, the Board of ENR needs to approve both this resolution
and the minutes.
and
In a minute.
environment.
Yes. Yeah. So I need to go back on the minutes. We need to have it as part of record that we approve the minutes. Whether you were here or not, at least we need to have it in our records. So, and we also need to approve this resolution that we have. Do we need to do them separate? Let's do them separate. Could I have a motion? Let me go back and let me ask for a motion on the minutes. Could I have a motion on the minutes?
Make a motion that we approve the minutes for the August 15, 2022 regular meeting of the Board of Equalization and Review.
Second.
Move the proper second that we would approve the minutes of August 15, 2022. Are there questions, any discussion? If not, all in favor, let it be known by you sign aye.
Aye.
I, Faulkner.
I, Broadnax Taylor.
Aye.
Ayes have it, motion is carried. Thank you so much. At this time, let's go back to the resolution been given to us. At this time, I'm going to ask for a motion likewise that we adopt this resolution that tells us about the appeal process.
Make a motion that we approve the resolution appointing the 2023 Northampton County Board of Equalization and Review.
Second.
Move the proper second that we approve the resolution as given to us. Are there any questions or any discussion? If not, all in favor, let it be known by usual sign aye.
Aye.
I, Faulkner.
I, Broadnax Taylor.
Aye.
Ayes have it, motion is carried. Thank you so much.
Sir,
This is the end of the
gotta
meeting.
do a call and then that'll be the end of it.
What?
I gotta do a call for appeals and.
Oh, you have, okay.
Right now, so we wish to open the board for receiving written appeals at this time. We request that all appeals be presented in writing to Jamie B. Mason, which is myself, clerk of the Board of Equalization and Review, and mailed to Northampton County Tax Department at P.O. Box 637, Jackson, North Carolina, 27845. It must be postmarked no later than May 15th, 5 p.m.
Thank you. At this time, board members, I'm going to ask for a recess until 6 p.m., May 15th, 2023 for this equalization vote. Okay, thank you. It is done at that time, okay? Now we're going to reconvene, going back into our board meeting agenda. And at this time, the first thing we have again is our tax department. Will you come?
You say the best for last. I don't know what that means about me. No, it's okay. So this evening, I'm before you, as I normally am. I'm here with 9 appeals. Taxpayers have sent in written requests that I come before you on their behalf, and that amount is $832.09.
Board members, you have before you the names of the persons and the amount of appeals that we have. The amount is before you. Could I have a motion that we approve upon the recommendation? Oh, we're not going to take action. They tell me we're going to do this at the next meeting. So to be on our consent agenda. Okay, thank you. At this time, we shall continue on. We're gonna go to Paul. Please come with EMS Director.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, Board of Commissioners. Coming before you tonight, on April the 20th, one of our franchise providers, Eastside EMS, ceased operations and can no longer provide service. And when I went down and met with Eastside EMS's Board of Directors, there were some citizens there that were concerned about what that would do about the service in Rich Square, even though the county EMS is dispatched to every call. They were kind of concerned that it would take longer than usual for an ambulance to get to them if Eastside EMS was not there. Eastside EMS was down to about 4 people, and they were only answering about 58% of the calls that were being sent to them. So I came back and had a meeting with the county manager, and he felt it was best that I came and reported all this to the Board of Commissioners and the concern of the city's citizens and a couple of options that the commissioners could do to improve service or state of what we're doing. The only other option is that we could hire 4 EMTs and do the same job that Eastside EMS was doing 12 hours a day. And then at nighttime, the normal EMS operations would resume, or we can continue doing what we're doing like as of today. Depending on where the call is in Rich Square, either truck from Jackson or a truck from Conway responds to the call. But I told the citizens that I would confer with the county manager, and then county manager just wanted me to brief the Board of Commissioners and let you know what was going on, give you a couple options, and looking for some guidance with that.
Well, members, you heard from Mr. Newell. Are there any questions you need to ask or I ask? Any questions? Any questions? Commissioner Edwards? Any question? Any question? I want you to tell me again that rescue squad was not doing how many calls?
They were only answering about 58% of the total calls that were dispatched to them. That's because they were down to about 4 people responding, and there were some management issues with that agency and some EMS system issues that had not been resolved. So the chairperson to their board, Ms. Sherwin Best, felt it was in the best interest of the citizens to cease operations because of the way it was being ran at the time. So they were only doing about 58% of what was being dispatched. The county was covering the rest of it. They weren't doing any nights, any holidays, anything like that, any response whatsoever.
Well, members, I think we need to rely on you to come back and tell us, just make sure that we do have service in that area. You need to work it out with the county manager, okay?
Okay.
In that area. We don't want the area to go without service, okay? They were on that, whatever that 58, I don't know what that number would look like, but they weren't on call during the weekends and at night, and it seems as though you had the buck of that responsibility.
Yeah, the county is responsible anyway. The way the system works is that the county responds to every call, and then we have 2 associate franchisees that were coming in their basic EMT level. And if you get there and the call was a basic EMT level call, then that agency transported the patient and kept the paramedic free to go on to another call. But we were having to, like I said, they weren't answering 100%. the month of December, they took the entire month of December off. They didn't respond to any calls during the month of December. That's because the only truck they had was not working. It had a transmission problem.
May I ask where that entity is from that made a decision to not service citizens?
That is they're a nonprofit 501(c)(3) and they have a board. And I had contacted them over some issues with some EMS system issues, some inspection issues. Department of Health and Human Resources had tried to go down there and couldn't get into the station to inspect the truck. It was several things. And she felt there was some other management things going on internally. And she felt like that it was just in the best interest to cease everything that was going on.
Thank you. Again, board members, would you have a problem with him connecting with our county manager and making sure county manager, we do have service in the Rich Square area? Whatever we need to do to make that happen.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. And you can come back, county manager, with that kind of report to us that will be able to make sure that we have services in that area. At this time, we do have the from our attorney, the proposal approval of inspection contracts.
Thank you, Chairman Tyner. Board members, in your package are two proposed service agreements that I have drafted. These are for the planning department and Mr. Flynn. His department experienced an unexpected departure of one of its key inspectors who the county was previously contracting with, I believe Jay Watson. So Mr. Flynn, in order for the county to provide the necessary electrical and fire inspections throughout the county, Mr. Flynn has located two parties. The first, Michael Jasper Davis, I believe he's from Nash County. And the second one is Code Plus LLC. That's a company based in Murfreesboro. I'm informed that they have all the necessary certifications and that this will likely be a short-term solution because I think he and his staff are actively trying to obtain all of the certifications from the state of North Carolina. These are identical contracts. Mr. Davis has proposed to be paid at $50 an hour plus mileage, and Code Plus LLC will be compensated at $60 per hour plus mileage. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Well, members, you've heard from our attorney giving us the contract that he has for planning department for electrical inspection and other inspections that we must do. And we do not have the personnel to do it. This is a contract with these two companies that they will come into our county and do these inspections. Do you have any question about any of this that you need to ask? The contract is here, but and it's before you. And you know, it's like all other places of employment. It's hard to find people now to do certain jobs, and we're no exception. But this is a way that we can at least keep that planning department operating and keeping our people who need those inspections for the houses or whatever they have, they need those inspections, if we can keep it moving. Any questions about this?
I know you said it was short term. Do they have any idea approximately how long it would take them to get their
I
certification?
don't, and I can certainly relay that question to Mr. Flynn and follow back up with you. But I know that, and I forget his name, one of the other employees in that department is actively seeking these higher level certifications. But I can't speak intelligently about what they are, but I'll certainly convey that.
Okay.
Board members, do you have any other questions you want to ask? At least this will keep us moving. Not stop the process. Someone building a house and they need inspection, we at least got someone that can do this. I need a motion. No motion tonight. We just need a discussion. We'll do it at the next meeting. Okay, if you have any questions about this, call the attorney. Okay, and he will be able to explain it to you. At this time, we have the recommendation candidate appointment to Northern County Economic Development Board. You have an application on hand. This is the person that asked to come and be a part of this. Henry Coe, part of this board. Board is to start operating in July. You have the name of the applicant. If you have any questions about this, please get in touch with the clerk to the board. Need additional information.
I don't have any questions. I would just like to thank Mr. Toshima for submitting his application and encourage other citizens to do the like.
Thank you. Thank you. Any other board members, any other comments? At this time, we have the State Employees Credit Union Public Fellows interim program, intern program. Yes.
Good afternoon, commissioners and citizens. I would like to come before you tonight to ask you to consider to approve an internship program that's sponsored by the State Employees Credit Union through Elizabeth City State University. The purpose of the program is to provide a nurturing and supportive environment for the student participant to grow professional right here in Northampton County. The State Employees Credit Union Fellow Internship Program designed to help connect nonprofit, government agencies, and local employees with talented Elizabeth City State University students. Their internship program runs for 10 weeks beginning May 21st, 2023 to July 28, 2023. This program is funded by the State Employees Credit Union through Elizabeth City State University. The prospective student intern is a citizen student who's graduated right here in Northampton County. His name is Jaheim Williams. He's a junior at Elizabeth City State University, majoring in business administration, and currently holds a 3.5 GPA. Northampton County will have to sign an agreement to agree to take responsibility for the student for those 10 weeks. I would like to recommend that Northampton County agrees to participate in this internship program and accepts the challenge to educate, nurture, and provide professional guidance to the student participant.
Well, members, do you have any questions about this and all interim people who come to do practice work with us? Good. Need more hands. Not only that, maybe he would want to stay and work with us in Northampton County. Good way to get people board in our county.
When you say we would have to be responsible for this young man, what does that entail? What will that entail on our end?
Just for us to kind of orientate him, kind of hold him on our guidance and try to educate him professionally through this 10 weeks while he worked. It's going to be funded through Elizabeth City State University through the State Employees Credit Union. We don't have to pay anything for him. They will be paying the $15 per hour for that 10-week time we're here. So we just kind of have to monitor his time, report how many hours he worked, things like that.
Will your department do that, or will it come through the county manager's office? How will that work?
Well, my desire for the student would be that the student have opportunity to grow with all the departments, that he would sit and be nurtured by all the departments. But yes, I can handle making sure that his hours and things like that are reported back to Elizabeth City State University.
I wasn't trying to put something on you.
No.
No,
I think this is a marvelous opportunity. I'm real passionate about this.
wonderful.
Yeah.
I would feel better if I knew your department with your personality could, be so positive in him being an outcast.
And when I got the call about this, I can't tell you how passionate I was about the whole situation program to have an opportunity to nurture one of our own. To keep somebody out the street, some of the things that are happening right now. And this young man, we can take accountability for this time frame. So I was honored to do that.
Questions? Any questions?
I have a question kind of along the same lines. When I've dealt with interns in the past, one of the agencies, either the one providing the intern or the one receiving, had liability insurance or like job shadowing kind of insurance, and it was a certain amount. They may have that, but I don't see it listed in the agreement that they would be providing that type of insurance for the.
She did not mention that to me, but I'm more than happy to call her back to find out about that to ensure that that is covered.
I know when they do, even their student teacher interns, they have to provide a certain type of liability.
Okay,
It would be good to check.
okay, I will check into that for you.
I like the opportunity for students.
Okay,
Make sure we cover all bases
okay.
for the student and for the county.
Any other comments, board members? Mr. Edwards?
None,
Any other
Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We'll have this on our consent agenda.
Okay,
Any board members got any questions, they'll ask you. They'll be contacting the county manager.
thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay. This time we have number 11, which is employees' health coverage request. This time, Williams.
Good evening, Commissioner Tyner. Commissioners, thank you for the opportunity to be here to speak. Before I get into ABC agenda, I just want to touch base on what the internship program that you have an opportunity to participate in. I highly recommend that. I'm also the executive director of the Murfreesboro Chamber of Commerce, and we've had an intern for 4 years through the state employees program. It's a great program. I'm not familiar with Elizabeth City State. Ours comes from East Carolina, but just to answer the question about the insurance, through East Carolina, they provide the insurance. So we don't have any cost associated at all, but we do have supervision.
Thank you.
A great program. I hope you guys participate in that. It's an excellent opportunity for a former student from Northampton County. Getting into ABC business, I'm the newly elected director of the ABC board here in Northampton County. And a couple of things I want to talk to you guys about tonight. The first one being insurance and looking at ways to reduce costs and to save money for our ABC board and kind of change some directions and some things. One of the things we looked at is the cost of our insurance that we have to provide to our employees, which is very few. We don't have many full-time employees, but one in particular, the insurance that she is currently on, we pay for. And at one time, from 1991 until 2013, that insurance was provided by the county, even though she's not a county employee. She was on the county plan. However, the ABC board reimbursed the county for that insurance. In June 30th of 2013, she was taken off of that insurance plan, and we provided insurance for her. At this time, we would like to pursue the possibility or the feasibility of seeing if it's possible to add her back on that insurance plan with the county, with the ABC board paying the premiums. We think that this would realize quite a bit of cost savings for us. And that's something that we're very interested in. And before we go any further with it, we would just like to ask the blessing of the commissioners to pursue that with the HR department and with the county manager.
Board members, you've heard the request is coming before us. I would at this time, but advise us to have our attorney to look into this, see if it's feasible, is it something that we can do as a county? I really don't understand how we were doing it at one time and now we're not, but at any rate, I think we need to get a report back from our county manager, making sure there is no conflict. I don't see where there would be one myself, but I'm not an attorney. I need to say to our attorney, please look into that for us And so let us know where we are with.
It is my understanding that one of our retired employees is on that plan as a retiree, and that we pay the premiums for that as well. So I know insurance has changed over the last few years, but we certainly appreciate the opportunity if we can to help us save money on that. The other thing that I bring to you is an update on our Gaston store. Chairman Tyner and County Manager have been to our ABC board meetings and has expressed some interest in updating our Gaston store. Our Gaston store is by far the #1 producing store in the county. And we've even had the ABC Commission from Raleigh that came down and visited our stores. And they highly recommend that we start the process of changing all of our stores over to a self-service type store. We're the only county that I know of, and the commission knows of, that we still have the walk-in type stores where you have to walk in and tell the clerk what you want, and they turn around and bring it to you. What that does is it stops what we call impulse buy. You know, when you shop, you go to the grocery store with a list with 2 or 3 things, you come out of it with a cart full. And that's kind of what the idea of the self-service store does. It allows people to buy stuff that they normally wouldn't buy to maybe try a new product. I have visited other counties, ABC stores, Hertford County primarily, but Halifax County as well, Gates County, and a few others in the area. And those self-service stores do well. They're very well run. So our plans are to start that process, and we want to begin that process with Gaston. The store that we currently have in Gaston is not large enough to turn into a self-service store. And so at this time, we're looking at a couple of different proposals to either purchase or lease a current vacant building, or to purchase or build a new store. It's the consensus of our board at this time that it wouldn't be feasible for us to build a new location such as what they did over in Murfreesboro. But we did go look at a vacant bank building. And at this time, we're going to move forward in looking at the feasibility of turning that vacant bank building into a self-service store. And that process is going to begin on Wednesday. We've got a contractor coming in to meet with us on Wednesday. And this is an ABC store contractor, and that's what they do. They either renovate stores or they build new stores and provide everything for the interior of the store. And so they're going to meet with us on Wednesday at that store and see if it's feasible for us to do that. Now, what I'm really coming to you guys asking for, County Manager and Chairman Tyner, is assistance with that. This is completely new to us as a board, and we're going to need assistance in how we move forward with that and how we can proceed, especially with the cost and the financial side of it. And so just wanted to give you an update on where we're at. We are moving forward with the Gaston store. And if you've got any questions, I would entertain those at this time.
Mr. Williams,
Sir.
you know that we look at Northampton County compared to all the counties around us.
Yes, sir.
And this is not good news for Northampton County, because our ABC store not generating the profit that it needs to generate. We're the only county that haven't had a substantial amount of money given to education, or either to the schools, or either to the county. And there need to be something done about that. That's administration for you all, but if we're gonna have the store, the people voted in Northampton County to have the store. Now, if we're gonna have the stores, let's make a profit. Whatever arrangements that you all have right now is not the right arrangement.
I agree.
Because it needs to make money. It's a business. You know, Burt T. County just gave his county $100,000, whatever it was, to help with the county. So I want to say to you as board members, we need to say to ABC, we're with you. Let's make a profit. And there's no reason why not. I talked to the ABC Commissioner in Raleigh. He said he don't understand why we aren't making a profit. And especially in Gaston. Oh, man, let me leave that alone. Let me leave that alone. Let me leave that alone. But I told the truth. I told the truth, folks. There's no reason why we not make a profit at that store. You got all the traffic, everything that you need right there.
And part of what we're looking at in Gaston is the accessibility of the store. Right now is a very small parking lot. Somebody pulling a boat going to the lake, they're not going to be able to stop in there and purchase what they're going to have while they're on vacation or some home. So we're looking at a location that will have plenty of parking. And so I agree 100%. Our projected profit, we have to do a budget just like everybody else does. Our projected profit for this year, our sales is projected about $1.6 million in sales, but the cost behind that is over $800,000. And then the cost of administering the whole program, it's costing too much for us to run county. And so there's two things we've got to do. We've got to increase sales. Most counties recognize the increase 20 to 40% going to a self-service store. And that's coming directly from Murfreesboro. And then we've got to lower our costs, our expenditures. And so we pledge to do that, and we appreciate being able to work with you guys, and I will come before you again. Thank you.
Thank you. This time, we're going to talk about the danger of living near a confined animal feeding operation. Mr. Nichols, county citizen.
Good evening. My name is Roger Nichols, and I'm a representative of a group of concerned citizens that basically they wonder why there's not enough education out here about the dangers of CAFOs. I mean, we talk to people and said, you know what a CAFO is, or do you know what is doing to the air, or what could cause the groundwater? And no, we don't even know we have any. And so that's what our intent. We're starting a sort of a grassroots thing here about educating people on pig farm, basically CAFOs. And we're talking not just 200 or 300. We're talking about quite a few. And so we'll look at this and turned it on. Go back one. All right. So one of the first things that we need to realize is right here in Northampton County, there are 20 CAFOs, and we're talking about swine CAFOs. Now, there are different types now. There could be turkey, there could be chicken, and even beef, but predominantly one here, and even in North Carolina, are swine CAFOs. And each CAFO can have as many as 100, as few as 100, or as many as thousands of animals, that are located in housing that hold these pigs, and they create quite a lot of excrement, manure. And right here where we're standing, there were 4 CAFOs within a 6-mile radius of here. 2 of them have ceased operation. I do not know why. I haven't talked to the gentleman, but I intend to. But there's still 2 going on right now, and these 2 are operated by Smithfield, and there's one on Barrows Mill Road that has over 1,000. I'm sorry, there's one on West J. Duke Road, as you see up here, can have as many as 3,927 swine pigs. The other one is on Garibaldi Road, right down the road here, about 5 miles, and they can have as many as 3,272. So that's quite a number of hogs. If you add them up in just 2 facilities, that's 7,199 one pig short of 7,200 pigs that's in this area. And so if you look at the amount of waste that these CAFOs produce is 8 times that of a human, 8 times. And so if you take the number of pigs that we have, multiply it by 8, you come up to with a equal amount of waste that's produced by 57,592 people. That's within a 6-mile radius of here. 57,000, that's equal, that's 3 times the census of Northampton County. That's the last census. It's about 3,000 more people than what the population of Rocky Mount is right now. So if you imagine that population right here on top of us, that's the amount of waste that these things are producing. And that's at 2 locations. And like I said, they're all within 6 miles of here. And now we all know here, you know, in our homes, our sewage is going through a septic system and goes into the ground, or it might be, if we have a city sewage system, it might go in there and that's, you know, done away with there. But CAFOs are different. They take this amount of waste and it's in the hundreds and thousands of tons annually. They mix it with water and they spray it on the fields, not in the ground, on top of the ground. And they hope that the ground's going to absorb it. Now, there are crops that are being grown. There are certain times they can have that's supposed to absorb this water and all this other excrement and, you know, make it all right. Well, it's not all right. It's way not all right. This type of distribution or getting rid of it has been going on for years, decades. I know in 20 years ago, Smithfield come out and said, look, we know this type of operation is not the best in the world, and we're going to try to update to newer technology. That was 20 years ago. They come back about a year and a half later and said, look, costs too much, but they can still continue to make a profit. But they still haven't done. Now, I know in the past there have people come up here to try to get permission to go to some newer technology, and I don't know what happened on that, but there is new technology available. Is it the best? It's probably a lot better than what we have right now. So this thing is dumped into lagoons. Again, it's mixed together. It's dumped on the ground on fields that surround us. And all the while this is going on, it's emitting noxious odors, harmful gases are being emitted into the air. These are greenhouse gases that are you know, hurting our ozone level if you're, you know, into the environmental things along that. Well, if it hurting the air, what's it doing to the ground? You know, we come down here on the way to the meeting, and within a mile of my house, we could smell it. They were either the lagoon overflowed or they were spraying stuff on top of ground, which is fully saturated from the rain that we got yesterday. There's a rule that says they're not supposed to distribute this stuff on the ground 24 hours before or 24 hours after a storm like we had. And I know we had, I'd say, well in advance of an inch of rain. Well, if the ground is saturated, where's it going to go? It's going to run right off the top of the ground into the ditches, which run out beside our road and wherever else, into your yard. You know, you might not smell it, but it's there. So, you know, this is one of the things we want to try to get across to the general public. So again, why am I here for this presentation? It's to give you information on CAFOs. The more informed you are, then the more that you are going to be able to make a informed decision, because during the permitting process, there's going to come a time which it has to come before this body for approval of the next permit. All right. Now, their permits expire on September 30th, 2024. I know that's a year and a half away, but it's a very lengthy process that includes a certain amount of time. You get comment from the people directly involved, like me. All right. There are times, numerous times a week, I get that smell coming into my house, in my yard. I cannot enjoy the things that I normally used to do because of this horrible smell. So there's a time for that. Then there's going to be a time in which citizens, you people, can be asked to, hey, what do you think about it? Well, you know, that's what we're here for. We're here to educate you on the dangers of these things. Now, I've been doing a lot of research on them and I found a lot of dangers, but I haven't found too many good things about it. Unless you work there. Or the county might get tax money. I don't know how much of that is, but I haven't got into that part yet. But anyway, so you'll have a time to comment about it. And so I want to get a little bit into the permit CAFO. Again, you get comments from the general public is asked next after, and then finally approval or disapproval by the county government. Now, after that, the North Carolina Department of Environmental Quality will make their decisions on issuing a permit. And so that process is going to be starting soon. They have not set it up that I have found yet within the next couple of months, but it should be starting soon. And as soon as I find out, I will be getting back in front of this board to letting y'all know. Because like I said, these things are dangerous. They statistics show, and we're, I'm gonna be bringing these before you. I'm gonna be up here enough that people are gonna see me on TV enough. They're gonna want my autograph down to super fresh. I'm being a little facetious here, but it is important that you are informed. We were raised around hog farms as kids, and 100 or 200 hogs was nothing. But that's not what this is. It's just big business. North Carolina is the #2 state in the United States that has these things. And quite honestly, I forgot to mention this, but they're usually put in a rural, usually a poor, usually a Black community. There's a term for this. It's called environmental racism. And, look around. This is not even now, we're still being affected by it. And so we'll be back coming maybe the next meeting and stuff. And I want to have some more things about CAFOs and some of the dangers, the diseases that cause for it. People who live around them, their death rate is elevated over the national average. The breathing is affected. I don't know about you, sometimes I turn my drinking water on, I think I smell it, but that could be something else. But it could be getting into our system because I don't know, but there's a water tower right here in Jackson that's about 3 miles from one. And I don't know if that water goes through some kind of water treatment plant and whatever. I don't know what I'm drinking. I take care of what I want to drink, but anyway, so that's our presentation. We will be back here. And if anybody, please, if you want to talk about, if you want to tell me, we are trying to get petitions together for people to sign so that we can take them to NC, North Carolina Department of Environmental Quality, so that we can bring them up here to let these people know. There is a grassroots movement coming across the United States right now about these things because there's so many of them. And people are getting tired of them. And people are being removed from office on account of them. They are just, they are bad. So that's what I have tonight. And I thank you for listening to me. And hopefully, through what we bring up here, we're going to inform you so that you can make a good decision. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. We appreciate your comment. We appreciate your comments. And of course, our meeting is open for those who desire to be on the agenda. This time, we shall deal with Vital, the hybrid internet presentation.
Thanks, sir. Good evening, Mr. Chairman, for commissioners. Thank you so much for having me here tonight. What wanted to come here and talk to you about, guys, about some tonight is let you know a little bit who Zytel is. who we are, what we have planned. We are an awardee of the Great Grants Award Program from the NCDIT in the state of North Carolina. We have been awarded 7 counties in North Carolina, Northampton being one of them. And wanted to tell you and bring to your attention what we're going to be doing with those funds in your county and how we're going to hopefully come here to be a partner with you guys and help you. Give you a little bit of background about our company. So we're headquartered in Virginia. Started in 2017. Zytel is a fiber optic internet service provider. We pride ourselves on being a small regional company in the Commonwealth of Virginia. We focus mainly on rural broadband and expanding and look forward to expanding in the great state of North Carolina. We can do other things that our competitors on the national scale cannot. That's why we like to talk about our relationship with local governments and their citizens as a partnership. So like offering dark fiber usage to local governments, utilizing volunteer fire departments and EMS facilities as POPs, that's points of presence, where we send the fiber out to the citizens. I know you guys have probably seen when you drive down the road, these little beige buildings on the corners of lots with chain link fences around them. Those are communication, what they call POPs. They amplify, increase the signal. What we've done is we've partnered with local volunteer rescue squads and emergency medical systems, EMS rescue squads and fire departments in Virginia. They give us space in a small closet. We in turn, we give them free internet for the life of the partnership that we have. Saves them money, gets us use. Fire departments usually have generators in place. I think it's a good use of the area and what we're building. So one of the keys to our success as a company is we keep our overhead low. We're not top heavy in management like your legacy telephone mob bell providers. Those are most of your larger national companies are the remnants of the mob bell breakup back in the 70s. They were telecommunications companies that were broken off, and they morphed into what people needed, which were internet service providers. As we move forward, internet access to good quality high-speed internet is the only thing that homes are going to need. They'll get everything else they need off of their internet service. The background of us is we're IT professionals. We've run an IT consulting company for 20 years, and then we morphed that knowledge and that expertise into being an internet service provider. So one of the things we do different, we designed this company to treat our customers the way we wanted to be treated when we were customers in the IT industry. For example, I lived in Roanoke, Virginia, just north of here. Every 2 years, I'd have to call my cable TV provider because my bill would shoot up to $220 a month. And I get told, well, you're not in your promotional period anymore. You're not, and we don't have a special promotional period for existing customers. You have not, the promotional period and the special pricing is only for new customers. Send you over to the customer retention. I had the service with the same company for 20 years, did this every 2 years to try to threaten to leave to go to somebody else that didn't exist, to maintain a good quality of a price with that company for cable TV and internet service. So one of the things we do is we don't do that. The price we offer is the price we offer. If it's going to go up, it's going to go up for everywhere where our footprint is. Last rate where our hike we had was about $3, and that was about 1.5 years ago, and it affected everybody. So there's no promotional periods, there's no contract periods, nothing like that. So the next slide, these are a little hard to see. You can visit our website to see these. These are our current footprints that are in Virginia. This is where we started. It's only about 90 miles of fiber that we built to start this company off in areas of Bedford County, Wool County, Virginia. So this is where we started. This next slide, which is also you can find on the internet, it's what we're building right now. It's over 417 miles of fiber throughout 2 counties in the state of Virginia. We won that with the VADI grant last year in 2022. That's the Virginia Telecommunications Initiative. It's their version of the Great Grant, where the state funding is funneled down from the federal government. They partnered with local providers to bring internet. I often say one of the great things that came out of the pandemic, probably the only great thing that came out of our pandemic, is governments all the way up at the federal level they saw the need that internet was a resource, it was a utility that needed to be put on the same level with water, electricity, and the other utilities that were needed. So our company was able to capitalize on that. get subsidies from the state and local governments to build in the rural areas that need high-speed internet. What that does, 10 years ago, the Comcast, the Verizons of the world, they wouldn't build there because they'd see an 18 to 20-year return on investment. Any company, business out there that sees an 18 to 20-year return on their investment is not going to do something. This brings the return on investment for us by partnering with local and state and federal government agencies to build these areas. It brings that return on investment back down to a 2 and 3 year timeframe, which is very tolerable. So it's right here, and you guys don't need to strain. This slide has the build that we're doing in Northampton County, shows the fiber route that we're going to do. This is really where I'm going to tell you what the numbers are. The eligible address passings is where NCDIT determined were unserved and underserved areas after the challenge process from the different providers that were already here. The eligible addresses were only 686 addresses, but the total passings, which is really the number you want to focus on, the total homes that we're going to pass in Northampton County along this route to all be able to provide service to. And this is just an estimate, and it is on the low end because we don't know until we can designate where our POPs are going to be, but that's around 2,076 homes that'll have either access to a secondary provider or have access to their first high-speed internet provider. The 686 are the ones we're obligated by NCDIT to provide service within 24 months of the grant award. It's going to be 86 miles of fiber with a total project cost of $3.8 million. $2.7 million was awarded by NCDIT, and $1.1 million will be invested by Sitel into Northampton County. This next slide is the one that the next few slides are the ones that you guys can review more closely. This shows the actual fiber route. These will be published onto our website as soon as we start the construction phase for people to look in and see if their homes are along it. But this shows the complete fiber route from up in the Gaston area, all the way down to south of Jackson, and then back up into some other areas of the county. This slide shows the 686 non-challenged addresses that we were awarded to build to that were considered unserved or underserved. Underserved is below the FCC's broadband level of 25 megabits down and 3 megabits up. This one right here shows all the eligible addresses that are along that fiber route that we're going to be able to provide service to. Once again, this is a low estimate. This next slide shows the pinpointed locations of where we're hoping to provide the POPs. If I can, so some of those 4 locations are the Roanoke, Aston Volunteer Fire Department, the Lasker Volunteer Fire Department, and the Jackson Volunteer Fire Department. Those are the ones we're going to contact. We're going to reach out to them. We'll talk to them about their needs to see if that works for them and us, and see if there's a way we can build a partnership with them to expand fiber to the homes around their area. So this is a current listing of all of our structured pricing. So it's easily published on our website. We don't do anything like the other national providers and have you we publish prices, and or you can't find the pricing. You have to call and sign up and get all these details before you can know. We have 3 levels of internet: 100 megabit circuit, a 300 meg circuit, and a gig circuit. So we offer right now. We're currently testing 2.5, 5, and 10 gig internet circuits. The fiber that we put in the ground is going to be future proofed. So the fiber we put in the ground, we expect it to last and be readily available to provide internet for the next 50 to 100 years. Same fiber technology that was designed and built back in the 60s and 70s by NASA. Research institutions have yet to find the maximum capabilities and the speed of fiber optic cable. It's only limited by the electronics and the cost to put the electronics on the end of the glass fiber. So we also publish all of our fees and everything that are going to be on, on top of our normal rates. The 100 meg package runs about $80 some change a month. The gigabit package runs about $115 a month. All these packages have no data caps. They have no limits there. You can download the entire context of the Library of Congress, watch every video streaming on Netflix every single day. New offerings coming soon. One of these is on here. This is a little bit of an older slide, but since April 1st, we have launched a TV product. So we now have television service that we offer. We partnered with a company called VidGo. So it is a streaming TV service, but you can pay and get an all-encompassing bill with us. And we cut $10 off that price of what you can go directly to VidGo and get it. I'm not sure which of the local channels here for Northampton they include in the Vidgo package. But I know in Virginia, we get the ABC, NBC, and Fox affiliate for the local channels. They're still negotiating with the CBS affiliate in our area of Virginia. We're also coming out with what they call the Residential Basic 50, which is a $30 per month internet plan. It's a 50 meg, and this slide is old. It's a 50 meg synchronous plan, so it's 50 meg down, 50 meg up. You can only get this package if you qualify for the ACP. ACP is the Affordable Connectivity Program by the federal government. It's through the FCC. It reimburses us $30 per month, and you get a $30 discount on your bill. So this package would be completely free for those that qualify for low income services from the FCC. Another thing we do different, and I know a lot of people in the rural areas of North Carolina, just like in the rural areas of Virginia, you buy a house, you have a 3,000-foot long gravel driveway through your farm or your area. You call some of the bigger national providers, they've got cable TV right out on the road. They want $25,000 to come down your gravel driveway to get to your home. We don't do that. We have a structured pricing plan that basically just pays for the cost of the cable. We do up to 1,000 foot for free from the edge of the roadway down your driveway to your home. Anything above 1,000 foot is only $1 a foot. We make it extremely affordable. If you do have a 3,000 foot driveway and the cost is $2,000 and you don't want to have to write a check for $2,000 in the day that your internet service is installed, we have plans to work with you. Remember I said we don't have contracts. Here we'll put a contract in place, 24, 36, 48 months, whatever fits a family's budget for them to cost to pay for that additional footage in the drop. So if you have, we also then, if you contract with us for 48 months, you have a 3,000 foot driveway, we run the fiber, the additional 2,000 foot, it's $2,000. We immediately knock off 25% because you're guaranteed income for the next 24 months or 48 months. And then we just basically do the division. We divide it by 24 or 48, you pay the additional 10, 12, 15 bucks per month on your bill for the next 2 years. And that paid for the 3,000 foot with a fiber optic cable to come down your drive. We're a company that understands the issues of how to build in rural. Over the past 5 years, we've built in rural Virginia. The county I live in, Bedford County, it's a big farming community. The longest drop we have is 7,000 feet. This guy lives on an 80-acre farm. His house is right in the middle of the farm, but he got fiber optic internet to his house. He's never had internet. The only thing he had was still dial-up. In 2022, he was using dial-up internet. That's all he could get at his farm. Now he has a gigabit internet plan. So, and the cost of him, he contracted with it for 60 months. He pays an additional $32 a month on top of his bill. So he's paying $140 and he has gigabit internet. He now has cable TV for the first time ever in 2022, which I think is just, I mean, where I live, I get cable TV in like 1984. And we had to go to 2022 before we realized it was time to get those services to everybody. So, a couple questions I can answer for you before you ask. Currently, our plan is to start building in Northampton County in the next 60 to 90 days. It's a 24-month contract. We're already 2 months into it. A month into it. The award came about a month ago when the contracts were signed between us and NCDIT. It's a 24-month plan that NCDIT has put in front of us to get this project finished. We expect to be done in 12 months. So around July 2024, we'll have all 87 miles of fiber in the ground and be expanding to and be able to provide services to to the citizens that are along that route. But we don't plan on stopping there. Our excursion into North Carolina from Virginia, we expect this to be a large scale. We'd like to build the entire county. If that's what, if there's areas in here, there's other grant opportunities coming from NCDIT that we want to work with you guys on. There's one called the CAB grant. CAB grant is where the county of Northampton will determine their needed locations. Find out if they qualify from the FCC with NCDIT, then you guys will put out an RFP to say which providers want to come build, and you will then handle the NCDIT, the state's money for them, giving it out to a provider, and you can match that. There's certain point structures out there for the board to come up with that will get you the maximized points, because it is a finite resource and it is a first come, first serve to that bucket. So I can tell you what I would recommend is over the next couple of months, really start digging into the NCDIT people and say, when is the CAB grant coming? When is the CAB grant coming? So you can be first on the list and get that RFP out. And Zytel will be one of the responders to your RFP to build off the footprint that we're already going to have here. So any questions?
Members, you have any questions? Been waiting for this a long time.
Love it.
We love it. I know it's just 84 miles gonna do now. We got a lot more miles you need to do. Whatever we need to do to help you get that grant, please let our county manager know that we're willing to do what we need to do to get the grant for Northampton County. Okay. Help you get it.
The biggest thing I think that we can ask of the county now is just make the fact of what we're building public. Direct the public to our website, the Zytel.com website. And the best thing to do, we have local tech support. Our customer service department answers the phone when it rings. Call them, talk to them, give them your name and address. She'll have the maps in front of them. They will be able to determine, is my address part of that 2,000 addresses? Am I going to be able to get service? What's the time frame? Those are all the questions we get. We take people's names and number, we put them in the system, and then we can assist you guys. We'll be collecting this data of people that call and say, hey, we see that you're coming. This is where we want to build. And we can provide you with that information so that you can, when you guys hear from your constituents, hey, this area has been calling us a lot. They need services. They don't have anything in this area, or they only have DSL or low speed internet. We can give you that information and say, here's areas that you can consider to put in your CAB grant applications.
Well, members, any questions? Thank you for your time. We appreciate it. Our county manager will probably be asking you more questions, and along with economic development, they'll be asking you more questions as we move along. Let's get the 80 plus miles in the ground. We can start using that.
We're
And
working on the permitting process now with both Duke Energy, some of your power co-ops, and with NCDOT to get the permits in place so we can get the fiber built.
thank you.
Thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
Yeah, we appreciate it. This time we shall ask for Branson's government website.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Chairman and committee here. So what I'm here to talk to you about, if we can go back. First slide. So not just a new and improved website for the county, but a full digital transformation for the county. So building off of what your mission statement is, as far as providing essential services through equitable, efficient, and effective use. That's what we're going to talk about here. So being able to promote online customer service, being able to have, that positive resident experience when they go to your website, increasing local engagement with the CAFO incident or with the fiber that's being put in, being able to get that engagement back from your community and being able to respond to them as well. So being able to find out, who wants the internet to come to them, who wants the fiber, get more of the responses from CAFO. These are all things that you'd be able to do with this digital transformation. Now, just to kind of give you a brief walkthrough of what this would look like, when you would first go to the site, you would see an option for people to be able to sign up for alerts and outbound notifications coming from the county. Now, you might already have some residents that are receiving communications from us. If anybody's receiving communications from agencies such as like Veterans Affairs or Medicare and Medicaid, that comes through our network. And so you'd be able to expand on that network to be able to reach more of your residents. And they would pick and choose how they would like to hear from you and what information they would like to hear from. So it's completely up to the resident to decide how they would like to hear from their local government. From there, being able to make sure people are easily able to navigate and find what they need on your website. That's one of the hardest things that we find with government websites is just being able to find the information you need. So having that search bar up there that works the same way that Google does, and easily being able to translate government speak into just normal people speak. Because normal people don't speak the same way that government speaks. So being able to translate that into just a normal person speak is huge. But not only that, but accounting for misspellings. If somebody does start to misspell a word, being able to have something to where it's still going to point them to the proper what it is they're looking for. As you can see there, it's just a screenshot from where we started to misspell garbage. It still pulls up waste and recycling. So being able to help still point people in the proper direction, even if they're not spelling the words correctly. Then having that easy access, 1 to 2 clicks to find your information. So on that big drop down, you'll see those hot button topics up there. What we'll do is we'll use the data and analytics of what people are searching for in your current site and put those front and center. So that way the residents can find what they need in 1 click. They're not having to go through your full website. They're not trying to have to figure out where things might be hidden. It's right there for them. 1 click to what they need to get. Finally, making sure that this is going to be accessible, not just mobile accessible, but also ADA compliant. So if somebody's looking on a phone or a tablet, they're easily able to scroll up and down on the site, not having to move side to side, not where it's hard to understand what's going on, but making sure that the ADA compliance is front and center for them, but also adjusting to what information it is they're looking for. Because somebody on a mobile phone might be looking for different information than somebody that's on a desktop computer. So that's why you'll see that there are different notification buttons there based on being on mobile or on a desktop. Because if somebody's on mobile, maybe they're looking for parking, maybe they're looking for reporting an issue like a pothole. Whereas on a desktop, maybe they're looking for election information or different things along those lines. So once again, we use that data and analytics to find what we need. Next, actually being able to complete your services online. So not having to call in, not having to drive into the county offices, but being able to complete these services online easily through a couple of clicks and entering their information and be able to take payment as well. It makes it a lot easier for the residents. Now, we will put information on there if somebody wants to call in or wants to come in person. We'll make sure they have all the information that they need to be able to complete those services. So they're not making multiple phone calls or multiple trips into the office. But make sure they have everything they need, which obviously makes for a better resident experience and also for the government officials that are dealing with the residents. It just makes for a better experience all the way around. And if somebody does have to say pick up and leave and go do something else throughout the day, they can easily save their progress, come back, complete it later. Next is just giving a little bit of information, you get a lot. So you'll put in an address and you're able to customize and personalize what shows up. So somebody can type in their address and find out what events are going on around them, what things are happening. So that way they're involved in the community. So that easily just being able to find out what's going on, what's near me. Put in an address, you'll find out what's going on around you so you can participate in what the county is doing. Finally, this piece is the one that has really stuck out to me just listening to your other residents here tonight. This is the optional engagement platform. So this is where you'll be able to put questions. You'll be able to put your commissioner meetings up there. You'll be able to put all these different things that your residents are bringing up online, different initiatives, different projects that the county is doing, and be able to get feedback from the community. Find out what the community wants, what it is that they're concerned about, and just what they would like next. But it's in a controlled environment. It's not somewhere like a Facebook or a Twitter, somewhere that's controlled and that you're going to have that information and the data and analytics to find out what it is that the members of your county want next. That's basically it. I wanted to keep it nice and short, and any questions you all have, we're free to answer them.
Board members, one privilege I'd like to have at this time. I'd like for Vice Chairman Faulkner, and I'd like for you, Commissioner Martin, to be a committee that will talk with these people about our website, and like for you to bring back to us a report that we don't take up all this time in asking questions that I don't really know what to ask, but you all do. you all are into that, and I just think at this time, it would be good for us to let those two meet with the web, and not only this company, any other company you like to listen to, and come back with us a recommendation. And if you can't, the two of you all can't get together, then come back and we'll split the vote and we'll decide what we're going to do. Okay, but I would like at this time to say to the two of you all, if you would get with this gentleman and let's look at our web page and let's update it and bring it to where it needs to be. Okay, and I think in your meeting you'll probably need our clerk to the board with you in this meeting, because someone's gonna have to feed the information that you need to the website. And she'll be the one that can perhaps feed to the website our board meeting. So if you don't mind, board members, I'd like to have you two to meet with this gentleman and another. And maybe in 60 days, y'all ought to have some type of recommendation for us to have. Do any board members have any objections? Mr. Elvis, do you have any objection?
None whatsoever, sir.
You
No objection.
Okay, I knew you all don't have any because I just said that. Okay, thank you, sir. We appreciate it. These two persons, along with our clerk of the board, will be back in touch with you to bring a recommendation back.
Sounds great. We've
Well,
been
thank you
working-
so much. I appreciate your time. Okay, thank you. Okay, financial matters. Yes, ma'am.
Good evening, everyone. This evening, I will be presenting 3 budget amendments for your consideration, as well as the monthly financial report. The first budget amendment is Budget Amendment number 38 on behalf of the Health Department. This is in the amount of $20,164. And this is state-approved additional funding that the Health Department has received towards the COVID immunizations account. Proceed.
Yes,
Okay,
continue. I'm gonna do them all at one time unless
okay,
board member has.
thank you. Okay,
Oh,
I
we
will-
improve for next time, no way. I keep forgetting.
thank you. Okay, next I will present budget amendment number 39. This is on behalf of E911. This is to move money from the fund balance appropriated line for $4,951. And this is to reimburse the emergency telephone system fund. The next budget amendment is Budget Amendment 40. This is on behalf of the Sheriff's Department, and this is for the amount of $25,122. And this is insurance reimbursement towards the repairs to vehicles line. And that concludes the 3 budget amendments that I will be presenting.
Board members, you have any questions you need to ask our finance administrator? Any questions? If not, thank you so much. At this time, to the county employees, I do want to say to you, you've been here all this long time, and next time I promise you, we're gonna do this different, okay? I promise you, we're gonna do this different, okay? I promise you, we're gonna do this different. You had to stay in here and endure all of this, and I know some of you need to be getting ready for work, and some of you need to be doing whatever. But please note that we're gonna do better the next time. Now is enough.
Not to interrupt, but we still have the financial report.
Financial report.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm sorry. I thought
Okay.
you were finished.
Thank you. I will next be presenting the monthly financial report. The rule of thumb for cumulative spend for the month of April was to stay below 83.3%. I will start with the general fund. And our general fund account was 24.5 million or 73%. Department of Social Services was 4.7 million or 65%. Our enterprise fund was 2.3 million at 76%. Garysburg Water and Sewer, $365,000 at 48%. And just to explain the low percentage, it was due to a 400,000 that was planned for tank repairs and later determined it was not needed. And last, we have solid waste at 2.2 million or 93%. And the 93% is due to a blanket PO that was issued. And this concludes the monthly financial report for April. Thank you.
Thank you. We beg for that, and now we got it, and we need to let you say it. Okay. Forgive us again. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Board members, you have any questions about the financial? Any questions y'all have? As we keeping up with it every month, with our balances. Okay. At this time, we do want to recognize county employees. We do want to say that we appreciate you to the highest. Again, I want to say to you that without you, there wouldn't be much of a Northampton County, because you're the ones who make Northampton County every single day. While so many of us doing our own thing and on vacation, doing whatever, you at work, especially when I see all of you with your uniforms. I want to say to you, thank you for all that you do for Northampton County. I cannot say it enough. This is sincerely from all of us, because you are the ones who make Northampton County. We just sit in these chairs, but you're the ones who out there doing all the work. Okay. I also want to note that our county managers come up with this year. Thank you, county manager, for the idea, you and your staff, that we will recognize people in our department. And these people whom we'll recognize were not people that we selected. I want you all to understand this. You were selected by your peers. I think that's just excellent. They thought enough of you to vote for you to be here and receive this award. At this time, I'm going to ask Vice Chairman Faulkman, if you would give us the names of those whom we are recognizing tonight as we need to say congratulations to our employees. We love you. We want to do all we can to support you. And if you got anything that you need to tell us, you ain't got to tell us in the meeting. Tell us when you see us, when we come around to your department. Even in the grocery stores, you can tell us. Even at the football game, basketball game, where we are, you can tell us. And I do want to say to many of our employees, thank you for letting us know too how much you appreciate. We're doing all we can possibly do to help you to do a better job. At this time, I'm going to ask our commissioners, please give us the name.
I would like to note that our clerk to the board does have a certificate for each of you that she will give to you either after this meeting or tomorrow. Okay, when I call your name, if you will, please stand if you are still in the audience. Lenny Moody, Dwight Ricks, Juanita Davis, Daniel Glover, Geneva Joyner, Bonnie Benthal, Katrina Powell, Melinda Wright, Joel Dixon, Michaela Wallace, Trey Bretlove, Sherry Allen, Kathy Howard, Brittany Stevens, Shadeja Hicks, Robin Williams, Michelle Jordan, Daniela Byer, Shirley Kincaid, Ahmad Harrison, Jeffrey Pittman, Brittany Creasy, Belinda Deloach, Chelsea Everett, Altessi Taylor, and Wallace Ransom. Thank you so much for your service.
Great county, but we got great people. Thank you. At this time, we'll have citizens, any citizens? Thank you. Thank you. I won't keep you this long no more. Promise. 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 Thank you for all you do.
Good evening, citizens. When you're recognized, please come to the podium and speak loudly into the microphone. Your comments will be limited to 5 minutes. The chair will cut off all speakers exceeding their allotted time. Should you have any questions of the board, you will receive a subsequent oral or written response from the board or county staff. The board will not respond or otherwise engage in a dialogue with you during your allotted time. This time is allotted on the agenda for citizen comments for the purpose of allowing public commentary on county business. This time is not an open forum to be publicly critical of the performance of any county commissioner or county employee, and the chair will maintain the order and decorum of the meeting.
Thank you. At this time, yes.
Okay. Gwendolyn Futrell.
Good evening, Chairman Tanner,
Good evening.
Board of
Good
Commissioners,
evening.
citizens. My name is Gwendolyn Futrell. I'm a citizen of Rich Square, and I represent a committee in Rich Square, the concerned citizens of Rich Square. I have come to ask a question to the board. I wanted to know if the board were holding monies for the town of Rich Square for drainage from Michael Ray, a grant that we received last year. I wanted to know that, and I wanted to know what is the timeline for getting that done. Another question I want to ask is, I want to know is, what could you do if a business was coming into your town to prevent a business from coming into your town? Is it only petition? Please let us know. Thank you so
No.
much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Next, Mr. Danny Sexton.
Good evening, good afternoon,
Good evening.
Mr. Tyner and the board. I'm a resident of Rich Square, particularly living down on Chapel Hill Church Road, on my grandfather's farm. I think Texas has been down there probably for 200 years. We got a private cemetery back on the back of the farm. And I'm down there trying to whip it back into shape because it was vacant for probably a decade. It's about to whip me in shape. I'm losing weight and getting in shape. So my concern is the truckers are coming through, taking a shortcut, Chapel Hill Church. Number one, they're speeding. Number two, they're tearing up the road. So there's ripples in the road. So if you were to drive down Chapel Hill Church, you would think something's wrong with your vehicle because you're going to hear noises that you normally don't hear because the road is torn up. I'm assuming there's a weight limit on the Bridges Creek Bridge, which comes through Chapel Hill Church, going to the river, the Roanoke River. If you want to turn into your driveway, let's say I'm leaving 258 at his house, Robert Price, my neighbor. and I'm leaving his house and there's no one behind me. But by the time I get to the bridge, there's a tractor trailer pushing me. He's speeding. I'm going the speed limit. And I've got to turn because I'm up the hill to the left. I put my hand out and tell him to back off so I can turn into my driveway. That shouldn't be the case. Why are they coming through Chapel Hill Church versus going to Rich Square, turning left on 305, which is more conducive to handle that kind of traffic and that kind of weight? These trucks have weight. They're carrying heavy, heavy loads. That's why they're tearing up the road. I'm assuming everything that goes on in the county is under the purview of this body, the board. I know it's kind of like a DOT situation, Department of Transportation, but that's the issue I wanted to address tonight. And hopefully I can get some feedback as to, are they supposed to be coming through with that kind of weight on that road, which is a rural secondary road? Is the bridge designed to accommodate that kind of weight? And, you know, back in 2017, when I used to ride motorcycles, I was riding my motorcycle and I met a truck at the bridge. He's over the line. If I wasn't an experienced motorcycle rider, I wouldn't be here. I had to lean my motorcycle over to keep from hitting the bridge and to keep him from hitting me, then straighten back up. Yeah, right on going. So that's my concern tonight. I hope that something could be done about that. I don't know what the county sheriff or deputy sheriffs or whatever about the speeding issues. My thing is, you know, when I grew up on Chapel Hill Church, we didn't have truckers coming through. Tractors, yeah, it's a farm. It's a farm area, but not the truckers. If you ever want to come through there and see them, they're booking. They're really moving fast. So that's what I have tonight.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for your time.
We appreciate it. Yes, sir.
Next, Alan Tashima.
Thank you, Chairman Diner and Board. My name is Alan Tashima. I live at 803 Pine Tree Drive in Henrico, 27842. What I'm bringing forward, and I'm not going to take my whole 5 minutes because I've given you 2 pages of questions and issues. I've turned it out to the audience and everybody else. What I'm here for is to talk a little bit about the new fair market value assessment that everybody in Northampton County received this year. And talking to a lot of my neighbors and people that I know, most of the people around our area picked up about a 30 to 60% increase in their fair market value of the house. I guess I must be one of the unlucky ones because my value went up 121%. Okay. I did notice in the new budget that you dropped the rate per 100 from 0.9 to 835. That doesn't help me. Okay. Because the way Northampton County does it is you take the full assessment or fair market value and then multiply that out by the rate. I am going to be impacted and my taxes will probably be going up 3 times the amount right now. All right. So I'm just bringing this up as an issue and concern in that, excuse me, I don't understand what all this extra revenue is going for. Like I said, I went to the 23-24 revenue budget. It went up 15%. Last year's budget was 39 mil. This year's 45. I went through the budget and I'm pretty good at numbers. I really couldn't find where some of the big chunks came out for a $6 million increase. Okay, big things are coming up. So if you accounted for my assessment at 835, hopefully you didn't, but where is all the extra funding going? Does that sit in a contingency fund? I'm going to use the word slush fund, or whatever. They could pay for a lot of stuff. I'm just saying is that there's a lot of us going to be impacted by this. A lot of my neighbors are here, and we called in to the tax department to get some resolutions. We're still waiting on the resolutions. I'm just saying is that I think there needs to be a little bit better coordination and communication with the community on what this extra taxes are going to go for. Because what you're going to do is you're going to lock me in for 8 years. Okay, 8 years. And I'm retired and fixed income. And so that's going to impact me. And a lot of us here bought property to retire in this area. And I don't think that those kinds of things were taken into consideration of why the taxes go up. Okay, my wife and I retired here from the Washington D metropolitan area. We were tired of sitting in traffic for 2 to 3 hours just to get home, 2 to 3 hours to get to work. I like it down here. Traffic jam for me is 2 cars, 3 cars. Okay, so I'm just saying is that please work with your citizens in the community to understand the impacts. Like I said, I've already talked to the lady, and I found out that she's not even a county employee. She's a contractor hired to come up with this new thing. Bottom line is, you tax everything. You tax my concrete porch for me to get into my house. You tax my pavement going down to my dock. You tax the concrete under my deck. You tax my driveway. You tax everything. So I don't understand. You even tax the shed on my dock. Why can't you just tax my dock and take the house and tax that? But you nickel and dime everybody in the area. So that's all I have to say. I've got 2 pages of questions and issues that I put out to people. Hopefully everybody else has the same kind of things. And I understand that the procedures are, I'll get an answer in 30 days. So thank you very much.
Erica D. Smith.
Good evening, Board Chair, Mr. Tyner, Vice Chair Faulkner, and County Commissioners. Thank you again for allowing me an opportunity to speak briefly. Just want to comment, I too live in the Lake Gaston area and was not happy with my tax increase. Primarily, especially because I don't see the extension of services. I came before this board in January, on January about the 20th. I came back in February, and at that point I asked if you needed a 30-day extension to get back to me. I did hear from Attorney McClellar one time, and I was told that I would get a response on March the 20th. We are now going into almost 120 days from me bringing my concern. And so I would appreciate if I could get a response. I have not received one. And my concern is number 5, it's articulated on the document that Mr. Tashima handed out. As residents of this county, his priorities, our priorities, many of our priorities who live on unpaved roads is roads and the infrastructure. And so if we need to have a meeting, maybe we can sit down with the county manager and the county attorney and have a working group and have a study. But it would be helpful to get some information and get a response back. Thank you for what you're doing to expand broadband. You all are working so hard and it is noticed. And thank you for appreciating your county employees. There was a lot that was said tonight, and I would just hope that if you're taking into consideration about increasing profits for ABC and expanding, in our neighboring county, the new ABC store went up across from a church, a Black church. And there was much to be said about that. The location, if I'm remembering right, where he said would be in Gaston across from a church, which is a white church. If at all possible, when you're looking to expanding and increasing profits, what does that say about preying on the poor and the demographic in Northampton County? If you really want to raise some money, put that store on for I-95 and get people coming up and down the road instead of putting it in our communities near housing developments. And thank you so much for the CAFO presentation. North Carolina has more pigs than it has people. More than 10 million pigs in North Carolina. And that is owned by Smithfield and a conglomerate, but we are paying with our health. So please protect our county and our supply of fresh water. Thank you. I would like a response back.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. We hear you. We shall respond. Promise you. At this time, County Manager, is there anything that you'd like to say at this time?
I don't have a whole lot more to say versus what we've discussed with the budgets, except for adding to the fine young women and men that we recognized here on today, the appreciation, and we're gonna continue with that with our appreciation of all county staff on this Friday, which is the Employee Appreciation Day. Keeping a tradition, we allow staff a half a day on the first Friday of May. So we will recognize that on this Friday. And again, I just want to thank everyone for coming out as I normally do, showing your interest in the county and your passion. We are listening. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Mr. Edwards,
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman.
in remarks at this time.
No, Mr. Chairman, I just want to thank everybody for coming out, and especially as always, appreciate the citizens' comments. And again, thank you for coming out.
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Taylor, Commissioner.
I'd like to say good afternoon to everyone. And I am just really proud to see that the employees of Northampton County were recognized because of National Government Month that is recognized during the month of April across the United States. And it shows a celebration of county government. And I am just elated to acknowledge this special time, that we acknowledge the special people that make it happen in Northampton County. So again, thank you. Thank everybody. And this is National Government Month. It's the month of April every year, and it's recognized across the United States of America, celebrating county government. And we have a lot to celebrate in Northampton County.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it. This time, Mark.
Well, thank everybody for coming out tonight, and thank you to the employees that were recognized, and thank you to all of our employees for the good job you do. Thank you.
How about Vice Chairman?
Thank you all for being a part of our county government, whether it's sharing your ideas in writing and email or coming to the podium and speaking your heart. Today is National School Executive or School Principal Day. And this week is Teacher Appreciation Week. So if you know an educator, love an educator, like an educator, or an educator has inspired you at some point in your life, reach out, and even if it's just giving that educator a call, and if they're not here to be able to take that call, sharing that with someone in your community. It is a hard task to do the wonderful job of helping to shape the minds of young men and women that come to our public, private, and home schools. We appreciate all that take part in that for our citizens, our youngest citizens. So thank you, educators, and I appreciate you.
Thank you, our board members. Thank you again this evening. We thank you for all that you do. all that you do when we're not in session, all that you do in helping us to have the best county government we can possibly have. Tonight, I'd like to give echoes to our county manager. Our county manager, last week had an inspection come down from the Treasury Department and from state, what's the name of the group? Local Government Commission. Local Government Commission. They gave us a report that Northampton County, you're on the move. Your finances is so improved. And words they were saying to me was, thank you, you commissioners. I need to say to the commission, thank you for having our finances where they are, and our books is at the auditor's office, and we wait for them to come back. But the two persons coming from that office in Raleigh that gave many accolades to our county government. So I do want to say thank you for all of you who work in county government, especially our finance department. We heard a lot of turnovers, but thank you for having us get that type of report. And board members, when I get it in writing, I'll send it all to you. Because there's some folks don't believe it unless they see it in writing, but I'll send it to you. Let me also say to all of you, all of our citizens, here again, that we know eval is taking place. There's nothing we can do about it. It is by state law. There's nothing we can do about reval. It happens every 8 years by statute. There's nothing we can do. All we can do is to take what those evals say and apply them to a formula that we're going to use in our county. And what we've done tonight, what we've talked about, we haven't done it officially, we're talking about not keeping the tax rate where it is, because we know that your property by the evaluation have gone up. We have people working in our county office who expert in that area. They'll come out, they'll reevaluate your property. Please invite them to please come out and reevaluate your property so that we can, so that you have an understanding. There's no secret about it. That is by law we've got to do. To you, the citizens, whom we love and we cherish, we want to do all we can to help. By law, we have to follow the law and making sure that what we do is legal. And I want to thank you for allowing us to be who we are and doing the kinds of things that we do. So on behalf of the board, thank you again for coming and being a part of us. And at this time, I'm going to entertain a motion that we will go into closed session.
Make a motion, we go into closed session.
Okay, can I have a second? With a proper second, we go into closed session. All in favor, let know about you sign aye.
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 All opposed, nay. All have, ayes have it. Motion is carried. Thank you. Don't forget. No, I ain't.